Hare Krishna. So this is a very, very nice verse. This verse is spoken by the wives of the Devas when they witness the passing of Prithu Maharaj. This chapter is about Prithu Maharaj going back home, back to Godhead. So this chapter is the topic of this chapter is actually a very, very important topic because all of us will have to go through it. We all have to go through it. So Maharaj Prithu, being a very, very pure devotee of the Lord, who came to perform a specific function for the service of the Lord, he came to re-establish what we know today as deity worship. So there are 9 processes of bhakti. One of the processes is deity worship. So the personality that is famous for deity worship is Prithu Maharaj. In this chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, we heard how Prithu Maharaj performed Ashwamedha Yagyas. That is considered deity worship also, in the category of deity worship. So after establishing deity worship of Lord Vishnu himself appeared in front of him. Very wonderful chapter whereby you can see the conversation between Lord Vishnu and his pure devotee. The amazing thing here is that when Lord Vishnu appeared, Lord Vishnu was in ecstasy. Not the devotee was in ecstasy. The devotee, as he was always in ecstasy. But here Lord Vishnu was in ecstasy. Why? Because he was so much appreciative, so much in love with his devotee. And Lord Vishnu was so much in ecstasy that he wanted to collapse in ecstasy. So this is a very wonderful demonstration of the relationship between the pure devotee and Maharaj Prithu. So this chapter talks about when Maharaj Prithu became old. And he handed over his kingdom to his children, which is what all good devotees should do. Another very good example is our Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, the moment he got to know that he was cursed by this young, immature Brahmana boy to die in 7 days, immediately he said, okay, time to go. Please understand, this is quite unusual, You know why? Because Kshatriyas, their nature is they are very passionate. So somebody do something like cursing to them, they will challenge, That is their nature. They are challenged. Like a king come and challenge another king to fight means they cannot refuse, They must fight, So when Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard he got cursed, it is normal to hear that Kshatriyas will curse that person back. Because that is their nature. Very passionate, they challenging, they like challenge. But instead what you see is Maharaj Parikshit, he did not retaliate. Why is that? That's quite unusual actually. Very, very unusual. He did not retaliate simply because Parikshit Maharaj was a pure devotee of Krishna, and he immediately knew when he heard that he was going to die in 7 days. He immediately knew that this is Krishna's arrangement. Somehow or other, whether this is a fight or no fight, eventually I must make arrangement for me to leave this world. So he took this opportunity. Same thing with Vidura also. When he got insulted by Duryodhana, Vidura he's got a Kshatriya mode. Everything about him is Kshatriya, When he got insulted by Duryodhana, he could have challenged him and say, oh, you insult me, okay, come, let's fight to the death. That's normal for Kshatriya. But instead, what did Vidura do? Yeah, he just quietly, went to his room, took off all his armor, everything, his crown, everything. He walked out, he left his sword at the door, and he just went. Because he knows this is all arrangement of the Supreme Lord. So Prithu Maharaj also, the moment he became old, he knew already, okay, enough of this working life already. This is quite unusual because today in Kali Yuga, you will see people work very, very hard to become in power. When they get the power, they don't want to let go. Until the day they die, they don't want to let go. So this is a sign of great ignorance. These leaders, all they are greatly ignorant of their own self-interest. So these wives of these devas, they are saying here, if you have this human form of life, and you do not know what is the purpose of your human form of life, you are committing atmaha. Atmaha means suicide of the soul. Suicide of the soul. Suicide of the soul here is in the worst possible sense, If a human being commits suicide, he can kill himself once only. The death can happen once only. If the person commits suicide, he can die once only. But here this word atmaha means that you die again and again and again and again. Why? Because you are trapped in the cycle of karmic reaction, cycle of birth and death. You take multiple, unlimited number of births in 8,400,000 species of life. So that is worse than just committing suicide once, isn't it? It's much, much worse. So these wives of these devas, they are seeing the pastime of Maharaj Prithu going back home, back to Godhead with his wife Archi. So they spoke this verse. So this is actually very, very important verse. So in the purport, it is very interestingly it is explained. Also very, very important point. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, and there are many other more yogas. But these are the main three that we are all very familiar with. So after explaining all of this, Krishna in chapter 18, he says, Sarva dharma paritajya mamikam saranam vraja aham tvam sarva papepyo mokshayachami masuchana. He says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will absolve you of all sinful reactions, do not fear. When he says abandon all varieties of religion, he also means this karma yoga, jnana yoga and ashtanga yoga. Why did Krishna say that? Why did he say that? Why did he go to the trouble of explaining about karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga? And then he told Arjuna in the end, he said, you abandon all of that. This was not important. Why did Krishna do that? The reason why Krishna did that was because he knows that in this material world, all the living entities, they are here only for one purpose. That is to become Lord of material nature. They want to enjoy. They want to become enjoyers. The main motivation for being in this material world is to experience sense gratification. So Krishna told Arjuna, my dear Arjuna, you abandon all this yoga, this karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga. Why? Because these yogas are contaminated with this idea of enjoyment. The karma yogis, they are attached to performing fruitive activities. That's why they are called karma yogis. They are better than the karma kandis. Karma kandis, they don't have any idea other than life is meant for enjoyment. Karma yogis are much better than them. Why? Because these people are still attached to performing work, earning salary, doing business, having family, having lots of children, going on vacation, working very hard for name and fame and all that, but they have some respect for Krishna and his devotees. So they do some kind of charity. They do some kind of charity, they give donation. So that is their glory. But the problem here is they are still attached to some sense gratification. Okay. Then the jnanis also say. Jnanis, they are studying scripture and they understand that this material world is a place of misery. It's miserable. Dukkalayam sasvatam. This material world is a place of misery, and whatever good that you experience is temporary. Whatever good you experience is temporary. So these jnanis, what they want is, they want to escape from the suffering of this material world, but they are still attached to sense enjoyment. They still want to enjoy. They want to escape from this misery of this material world, but they still want to enjoy. So these jnanis, their ambition is to be promoted to the heavenly planets. The highest planet in the heavens is the Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka is where you find sages there. They just, very wonderful place, very peaceful, very quiet. They just do meditation. They do meditation. and they are very happy, very peaceful there. So that is their ambition. But the main motivation is they want to still enjoy. Now they are enjoying in Brahmaloka, just like Lord Brahma is enjoying. They are also enjoying there. So the thing is here, enjoyment there. The sense gratification is still there. That's the problem there. And then a bit higher than that, higher than the Jnani, Jnani yogis is the Ashtanga yogis. Ashtanga yogis, they want to acquire some kind of power, some kind of magic, some kind of siddhi. Siddhi means perfection. They want to acquire some kind of power so that they can enjoy some name and fame. They want to enjoy name and fame. And they perform severe austerities. Austerities. But in this day and age of Kali Yuga, a lot of what these yogis can do, whatever perfection they can do, now scientists also can do. You see? I tell you one story. There was once Radhanath Swami. Before he became Radhanath Swami, he was traveling India and he had ambition to become a yogi. So he was once in Ganga, in the banks of Ganga. He was staying with some yogis there, and one day when he went to the Ganga to take bath, he saw one yogi walking on water. He was walking across the one bank of the Ganga to the other bank, and Radhanath Swami saw this. He was amazed. He said, "Wow, look at that, mystic yoga in action." So he was so excited, because he is a Westerner. This is like not every day you see this. He is a Westerner. So he went to a nearby jetty where they had some boats there and some boatmen there. So he went to them and he says, "Hey, you see that? This yogi is walking on water." So these boatmen all turned to look at the yogi and they started laughing at this yogi. And they told Radhanath Swami, he says, "This one is only 2 rupees. Radhanath Swami was confused. Hey, the yogi is walking on water. He said, yes, that yogi walking is only worth 2 rupees. I said, "I don't understand why you say it's worth 2 rupees. I said, "You pay me 2 rupees, then I'll show you." So Radhanath Swami had a few rupees with him. He gave him 2 rupees. He said, "Come, you sit on my boat. I'll take you across the Ganga, just like this yogi. I'll entertain you on top of that." Then he understood, what is the real value of walking on this water? What is the real value? Now I pay 2 rupees to this boatman. This boatman would take me across. Not me, he would take me across comfortably. He will entertain me somehow. He will tell me story. This yogi is walking all alone. What he has. So this is one very good example, you see. So whatever yogic cities, scientists now can do already. For instance, in one of the yogic cities is you can travel on the ray of the sun. When the sun is called light, you can walk on the sun ray. You can travel anywhere in the world on the. Today we got aeroplane. You pay some money, you sit on the aeroplane. Not only you sit comfortably, got aircon some more. Not hot sun. Aircon, got TV, got music, got food some more. Got people next to you can tell story. So much more better. There's another city where you can become smaller than the smallest. Now scientists all they got machine, electron microscope they can shoot atoms through buildings and all that. Scientists can do all of this already. So the value of such cities is very little. Like that boatman, he says worth 2 rupees. You're walking on water. Other people who are is worth only 2 rupees. But what is the difference between all of these karma yogis, jnana yogis and ashtanga yogis compared to a bhakta? The bhakta, his specialty is that he is not interested in anything to do with this material world. He is convinced this material world cannot really satisfy me. I cannot find the happiness that I seek. In this material world is cannot be found. Impossible, cannot be found. If you find it also, It will be temporary. Why? Because your temporary material body will die. You are forced to die. So bhaktas, they don't have any faith in all this happiness, name, fame, more money, casa. I want this guy, I don't want to enjoy. They have no faith whatsoever. Instead, these bhaktas, these devotees, bhakti yogis, what they do is they only focus on Krishna's pleasure. That is the specialty there. That is the most important point there. This is one very, very important point. So this is, let me see, did I miss any other point in this verse here? So in this verse, in this chapter, it is explained that at the end of life, Maharaj Prithu, he performed Ashtanga Yoga in the ashramas. He left his kingdom. He went to the ashrama, went to the jungle to exclusively meditate upon the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Exclusively, he want to meditate. If he is still in his palace, he is still doing his job, you cannot exclusively do anything. That's why he went there. And what happened was, when he went to the ashrama to meditate upon Lord Krishna, his wife followed him. His wife is not different from Lakshmi Devi, Archi. So it is explained here very interestingly. Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport that Maharaj Prithu, he performed Ashtanga Yoga in expert way to reverse. He wants to reverse all his attachments, because throughout his life he has developed some attachment. We cannot run away from being attached. We are attached to our body. We are attached to our shirt. We got a favorite shirt. I got favorite japa. I got favorite dhoti. I got favorite chanting bag. Everything, all this attachment. I got favorite child. You got favorite son. I got favorite daughter. I like certain food. So all of these attachments, So Maharaj Prithu, what he did was he performed Ashtanga Yoga, and he reversed back all this attachment. He give it back to where it came from. It's a process, this one. And he performed pranayama, breathing exercise. This breathing exercise brings balance into your consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada says here very interestingly, in this day and age of Kali Yuga, this kind of Ashtanga Yoga cannot be performed. Why? Because the environment does not allow it to happen. Our environment, the place where we are in now, this material world, is full of contamination. The air is contaminated, the atmosphere is contaminated, everything is contaminated. Very, very difficult to achieve such perfection in Ashtanga Yoga. But simply by chanting Hare Krishna, singing and dancing for the pleasure of Gaur Nitai, that is already automatically pranayama already. And that is the perfection of bhakti. That is the perfection of bhakti. So this is some very, very important points. And in this verse here, you can see the wives of the Devas, they are amazed at seeing Archi. Why? Because when Prithu Maharaj, by way of Ashtanga Yoga, meditated upon the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, and his Atma left his body and his Atma went back home, back to Godhead. Archi, being the wife of Prithu, you know what she did? She took the husband's body, she built a fire, she put her husband's body inside and she herself entered the fire. She performed sati. But these wives of these devas, they were watching this happen, and with their own two eyes they saw that Archi also got liberation just like the husband. This is a very, very important point to understand here. Today all we don't perform sati, this is not recommended. But the lesson here is that to be faithful to one's husband, who is a pure devotee of the Lord, is the greatest of fortune for the woman, for the wife, for the mother. That has got to be understood. Women must tell women this. Men talk about this means a bit weird. I'm telling this because women must tell women. You must tell young girls. You want to be happy in life means you automatically your nature is you want to be under care of some man. That is woman's nature. But if you can find a husband who is a devotee of the Lord, very easily, very easily, the girl can get liberation simply by being obedient to a pure devotee of the Lord. By performing loving devotional service for the pleasure of a devotee, Guru and Krishna. Devotee here means husband. You see? So when the wives of the Devas saw this, they were amazed, totally amazed. And they were lamenting. These Devas, wives of the Deva were lamenting. Why? Because they are in Swarga. Too much distraction, too much comfortable situation, too much, everything is nice, They have got no motivation to perform loving devotional service in a very pure way. They have no motivation. What motivation they have? Just like all of us here, we all got jobs, we got house, we got family, everything rumba nalladhu. Very nice, very comfortable. What is the motivation for you to come to temple and do talavali work? To do the deity worship, to sweep the floor, clean the floor, to cook. Then after that must wash the pots. What is the motivation? There is no motivation. Why? Because we are too attached. So much attachment to all this. My body, my house, my car, my TV, my friends, my work. So all this is distraction. So the question now is, how are we as devotees, if we are aspiring to become devotees, even though you might be initiated, but actually you are aspiring, because nobody is performing pure devotional service. Nobody is performing pure devotional service. Everybody is struggling with their own, no time, Prabhu, no time. No time. So the question now here is, what should we do? What is the very first thing that we can do to try to get out of this illusion? This is Maya actually. We think we are happy, waiting only for some heart attack, high blood pressure or something. At that time only want to do pure devotional service, So before that happens, if you have any intelligence, you would want to think, hey, I know I'm in Maya, that is true, but what should I do? What should I do? So the Srimad Bhagavatam repeatedly, every canto, everywhere, example after example after example is, you must hear the glories of Krishna from the lips of pure devotees. You must hear it from pure devotees. So now the question is, you all know I'm not pure. Okay? I'm not pure. So where to find this pure devotee? So Srimad Bhagavatam explains. There's two Bhagavatams. There's one book Bhagavat and there's person Bhagavat. Okay? The person Bhagavat, the person who is a pure devotee of the Lord, he only speaks what is in Srimad Bhagavatam. He doesn't go out of what Srimad Bhagavatam speaks. Okay? That is a person Bhagavat. If you don't believe me, you can hear all the lectures by Srila Prabhupada. You can hear his lectures, and he will speak only from Srimad Bhagavatam. He will speak from Srimad Bhagavatam, he will speak from Bhagavad Gita, he will speak from Chaitanya Charitamrita. But unfortunately for us, we don't have association of such pure devotees, like Srila Prabhupada, like Janananda Goswami Maharaj, like Japataka Swami. We don't have association. So what should we do? We should take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, the book Bhagavat. Pustaka. You must take of Shastra. You must take shelter of Shastra. But to be fair, I've read Srimad Bhagavatam a few times and it's not easy to understand. Not easy to understand. So together with reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you must do two other things. You must do two other things. You take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam by reading it. You read for the purpose of understanding. You want to understand what is being said. I really want to understand. Okay, you read like that. Not just both Prithu Maharaj airplane, read it. What's it? Not like that. You want to read to understand. Okay. After reading, you must do two other things. Number one is chant your round attentively. Your Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you must chant attentively. This one is like your left hand and right hand. Two hands only you can result. You can tepuk tangan, no? You can get result. The other thing you should do is you should listen to Srila Prabhupada's lectures. Why, Because Srila Prabhupada in his lectures, even though he wrote the purport you're reading in Srimad Bhagavatam is by him only. But when Srila Prabhupada gives class, he gives more than what he writes in the purport, no? I don't know, you realize this or not? Hearing someone speak and reading what they write is two different experiences, When you read, you get a lot more knowledge and a little bit of emotion, a little bit of feeling. But when you hear Srila Prabhupada speak, you get his heart, his life and soul, He's talking to you, and he's talking about Krishna only. You can hear his love, his compassion, his mercy. You can hear his determination. You can hear it. And that, my friend, is the one that will save you from this repeated birth and death in this material world. Why? Because in this world, anybody who does anything, they do because of some feeling, some determination. Nobody cares if you know a lot. But people will care for you when they know how much they know how much you care for them. Emotion, feeling. Every week when we have some service to come and do here, you think, Allama, must go again to center, Allama, I go do work alone, la. But when you hear Srila Prabhupada says, yes, sometimes it might be difficult for you as a neophyte devotee, but go anyway. Go anyway. Why? Because Krishna is there. Go and do devotional service for the pleasure of Krishna. Don't be worried about if there's people there or not, people appreciate you or not, people come for class or not, because I've given class when there's nobody here. I am the pujari. I sit down, I give class, nobody here. I'll just turn, I'll give class to Srila Prabhupada. See what Srila Prabhupada himself says, he said, never mind, you come and do your service, whatever it is, just do. Don't worry, people come, people don't come, people appreciate, people don't. We say, they are not important. You just do your service. With the knowledge that Paramatma is within your heart and He's watching what you're doing and He's appreciating it. So this is the mode in which we should approach our devotional service. This is the main lesson here in this chapter. So this chapter is the end of the series of chapters on Maharaj Prithu. He going back home, back to Godhead. Next chapter is about Lord Shiva. Very, very interesting also. For Grihasthas especially, for married people, there will be chanda between Lord Shiva and Durga.